Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Annabelle, Talent Community Coordinator at BioBuzz. Today, I'm thrilled to have our amazing guest, Amrita Madabushi. We're super excited to have her here today. Want to kind of give a shout out to Amrita, give a shout out to Women in Bio in the BioHealth Capital region, which Amrita is a part of. So BioBuzz continues kind of collaborate with Women in Bio with their BioHealth Capital Region chapter to promote women in biotech and life sciences in the growing region. And today, like I said, we have Amrita, who is co-vice chair of Women in Bio Capital Region. She is a doctor and a collegiate professor of biotechnology at the University of Maryland Global Campus. Founder of Empower Bio, a biotech training company. And Amrita has over a decade of experience teaching and mentoring biotech students. She's played a key role in academic industry collaboration, doing enhanced training and placement opportunities. She's previously served as associate director at the National Institute on Aging, the NIH training office, and oversees graduate students as well as postdocs. Amrita has also co-founded the Maryland Collegiate STEM Conference and launched the Maryland Bioeducators Network to support numerous biotech trainings and career development. And her contributions have earned her many different accolades and awards. And she continues to kind of serve on those advisory board committees for the biotechnology programs and really has made a lasting impact on biotech education workforce development. So very excited to have her here today. Before we do dive in, I do want to give a brief thank you to our sponsor, Biotech, today. Biotech is a incredible resource for upskilling in the life sciences in Maryland. They've trained over 17,000 scientists through their cutting-edge biotech workshops, and you can learn more about them at biotech.com. I also want to mention that today's event is part of the BioBuzz Talent Lab, which is your go-to resource for career growth, job opportunities, industry connections. So if you haven't already, join the Talent Lab today, stay connected and access more opportunities like Career Catalyst and different resources we have on there. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to hand it over to Amrita.
All right, thank you, Annabelle. I hope everyone can hear me fine. Okay.
Perfect.
Let me try to get my slideshow going. Can you see my slideshow now?
Yes, perfect.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining today. Annabelle, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I'm really excited to be in this BioBuzz Career Catalyst series. And today we are going to be talking about leveraging transferable skills for your next career move in biotech. So Annabelle actually shared a little bit about, my career, just my little bit about my career path. I wanted to share that a lot of the transitions that I did, whether it was postdoc to the first time at a faculty position or to NIH and to my current role at University of Maryland Global Campus, there were a lot of points where I went through jobs where, I necessarily did not get those. There were points where I was almost shortlisted, didn't get those. And that all helped me refine and understand what kind of skills and value I bring to the position and highlight those. So today I'm really excited to share with you that the transferable skills that you might have, which will get you to the next step for your, for the career that you are aspiring for. Since we're going to be talking about transferable skills, I thought it would be good for us to be on the same page. And I think many of us have, general idea on what transferable skills are. Transferable skills are their general competencies and abilities that can be applied across different roles and settings within the field. And of course, they'll vary from in different fields. Healthcare has a different set of maybe transferable skills that in addition to the general competencies as in comparison to the biotech. So what we are going to do in this session is work on what to identify those transferable skills for you, for your resume or your, CV. How can you amplify those transferable skills? And finally, how can you highlight those skills so as to get to that next position that you aspire for. And that could even be within your same company. It could be something which is outside the realm of which you're working right now. It could translate to any of those directions. And I'm looking forward to your questions. So please, if you have any thoughts during the session, please feel free to share that. So with this, I would like to actually learn a little bit more about you. We want to launch a poll for you. And the question for the poll is, what best describes your current status? And I know there are varied versions of, maybe two of those match, but, you can pick what is the best possible version for you or option for you. So I think Annabelle has launched the poll. Annabelle, can you see the responses?
I can, yeah. Just give it a second. All right, so it looks like we have a lot of actively seeking positions or in between jobs. We have 8 votes for that, and then a lot of votes, a lot of different kind of people joining in today with bachelor and master's programs, employed seeking new opportunities, and employed, not actively seeking some opportunities, but actively seeking in positions or in between jobs. Big one for us today.
Awesome. So we are actually going to be looking at some of those positions. So for this, what we are going to do next is look at certain profiles. So one of the profiles that we are looking as is someone with a bachelor's or master's. I'm just going to focus on that for a minute. Someone who is, and these are actually taken from real resumes, modified a little bit, but mostly it's actual profiles. So quick learning, passionate, reliable, and result-oriented undergrad with attention to detail, and then details such as what you're majoring in, transferring into biomedical engineering, looking to develop experience, connections, and a solid background in biotechnology field. The profile B is a little bit more experienced, or in terms of educational qualification as well, professional experience also. Researcher experienced in immunology-based protocols, developing experimental plans and prioritizing tasks to meet deadlines, serving as a point person for a certain project, in this case, hybridoma research project, and disseminating findings to leadership, mentoring undergrad and grads in the project, and published several peer-reviewed papers and presented in conferences. So we are going to look at these profiles and see what kind of transferable skills do these individuals have, and how can that help them in the job search. So first of all, let's look at the profile A, where we're looking at someone with a bachelor's or master's. We want to identify what kind of transferable skills they have, but let us look at some of the jobs that are presently in the market. And I picked certain jobs, which I have also shared here in the job link, but I'm also going to tell you in the end where you can find these positions. Of course, you can write them down and you can look for the positions directly on the website. So one of them is a lab technician who performs routine lab tasks, such as just, maintaining mouse colonies, PCR, or biochemical and molecular biology experiments, and they're working with other lab personnel. The second job that I want to highlight today is from a biotech company, Lonza, scientific support specialist too, where you're not doing laboratory experiments, but you are working with customers, distributors, and sales representatives and providing them technical information. And the third one is a quality control microbiology analyst too at Piper Health and Sciences, a biotech company, where you're actually doing some really important quality control work for the development of gene therapy drug products. When this same individual is applying for these different jobs, they probably are going to highlight different job-related skills and different transferable skills. So let's take a look at that. So what I did was, first of all, on the profile summary or the professional summary, which is supposed to be on the top, I have highlighted here some of the words, and these can be identified as some of the transferable skill sets, such as knowing how to perform basic biotech lab skills. And of course, we need someone who is a quick learner, someone with attention to detail, having good oral communication skills, adapt to new skills, result oriented, collaboration and teamwork, and motivated to excel. So these are the transferable skill sets that we are identifying from this person's profile. When they are applying for different positions, such as the laboratory technician, um, they're probably going to use all the skills, but I have highlighted the 5 most important skills that someone who is hiring would look at. So again, all the skills are important, but we are going to be looking at the 5 most important skills. So for example, for a lab tech position, you do need to know the biotech lab skills and how to work with instruments, equipments, make different kinds of buffers, media, etc. However, for a scientific support specialist, you would not need to essentially know that, but you need to know some other things. For example, you need to be a quick learner and adapt to new skills. You need to be result oriented and make sure that you can really work with the team to beat those goals in terms or deadlines, whatever that those are. Similarly, for a QC microbiologist or analyst to microbiology analyst 2 position, there are different kind of skill sets that I would highlight. And not that teamwork is not important for the first position. It's important. All of these are important, but I would say that there will be a lot of time where you are already given the task and you need to perform and sort of coordinate. So that's how I would mention that. And I did see there is a question in the chat, and I think we will be taking that right after this presentation. But I'll make sure that we'll answer all your questions. So now let us look at the second profile, the profile B, where it's a more advanced in their career in terms of education or research experience. And I picked out 3 positions, one at Gilead Sciences as a scientist for protein therapeutics, contributing to the engineering of novel antibody binding domains, fusion proteins, etc. The next position is at Howard Hughes Medical Institute as a project team strategist. It's primarily like a project manager sort of position where you're working with different portfolio and enhancing the scientific potential. And then there is American Chemical Society position, which is a program manager for student and postdoctoral scholars. So guess what? This person can also apply for any of these positions, but you can all see that these are very different positions. The question is, does this person has the skill sets required for all the 3? And that's something that I would say in my personal life too, I have kind of questioned myself and I've asked, hey, am I able to do any of these? And the answer to what I arrived was yes, absolutely. I can do any of these, but I do need to make sure that I'm not looking at it from my standpoint, but from the standpoint of the HR or the employer as to how they will view it. So if I just present my profile as a deep research intensive sort of profile, then that may not be appealing to Howard Hughes Medical Institute position or the American Chemical Society position. So I need to make sure that I strategize and I put forward a resume, a CV that really works for them. So in this particular case, we are able to identify about 10 transferable skill sets. Of course, this person has research and analytical skills. They can execute high impact projects because it's obvious that they are even a point person for a certain project. They can manage lab operations. They're good at project management. And project management is often a skill that a lot of PhDs and postdocs would miss. Also, scientific communication skills, public speaking skills. Of course, a lot of PhDs and postdocs have that because they are speaking at conferences, poster presentations, oral presentations, adaptability and initiative, collaboration and teamwork, and also because you lead projects, you are a team leader, and mentoring and training as well. So these skill sets, like I said, there are specific skill sets that would be needed for a job. For example, you would need how to work with the flow or HPLC or, a certain, even something specific more, maybe NMR. But then there are these skill sets which are also, which are very important. And that's what the focus of this particular slide is. So for the first position, I would say that person needs to have research and analytical background, really keep that in the forefront. They should be able to execute high impact project with little guidance. Of course, they're going to be working with their team. So we do need that they are able to manage different things. They're able to do project management. They're able to do a collaborative or teamwork. So that's one of the jobs. The other one is the one at the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, or HHMI, which is the project team strategist job. Essentially, research and analytical skills are great, but I think it would be the most important thing would be project management and executing high impact projects, as well as good communication skills, public speaking, and then finally adaptability and initiative. For the American Chemical Society position, the first or the number one thing that the person would need is mentoring and training. So, that's something that's really important, followed by leadership, because you're leading a portfolio of, I don't know, 100,000 trainees. I don't even know how many that is. So you need to kind of find out that information. And then other areas as well in project management, communication, etc. So you can see that the same person can, of course, apply for any of these positions, but they need to modify their resume to say something a little different, so that when the person who is reading it, the HR, the hiring committee, they're like, this is a great fit. So how can we amplify I think we talked about identify, so we're going to move on to our next step. How can we amplify these transferable skill sets? And I know that we are still on profile B, but it's valid even for the profile A. I would say there are many things that you can do to enhance your skill set. And I think I would put networking on the top. So thank you all for joining this session. This is a way for us to network. BioBuzz is a phenomenal resource. You can network online and in person. Because guess what? Behind every job is a person. And we always have to remember that, because if you are networking with the right kind of people, you will be able to have a little more insight into the job or how you can approach best. So, teaching is a great skill. Again, I would really encourage you to teach, because that would help you really develop public speaking skills and great communication skills. Applying for grants, you're directly bringing in money to the labs, and that is an important one as well. Collaborate. Maybe, you have opportunities to collaborate with another lab, and, maybe your PI or other, whoever is a supervisor has not exactly explored that, and you could be the one leading that kind of effort, or at least suggesting. You could go for training workshops. Sometimes the place you're in would provide you certifications or training workshops on different areas: patenting, tech transfer, industry terminology. Explore these. I would say that, I know that we are really want to driven by our goals and our mission, but it's good idea to explore, because in today's world, the jobs are really getting very diversified. Also engage in lab operations, sign up for, societies like maybe American Society of Cell Biology, or I don't know, microbiology, neurosciences, whatever that is. And you can serve as a leader over there, maybe as a student leader or as a representative. If you have an opportunity, be a peer reviewer for journals. And I would say be in the job market every single day. And actually, I got this advice from someone who leads the entire eastern region of United States at this time on the outreach program for one of the very leading biopharma companies. Be in the job market every single day. You will learn how the job market is evolving, and that will help you enhance your skill sets. So that is one of the important ways to do it. So once we have these skill sets, there is we can actually put them on the resume. And this helps me to actually, let us launch the second poll question. I would like to understand, what is your current position or the role you aspire to be in? It's a little bit different, because we are trying to identify here what kind of uh, segment within and I know that it doesn't cover everything. Hopefully it covers most of the areas. So what kind of a sector within the biotech or biopharma that you aspire to be in? Annabelle, you have to help us a
Waiting,
little bit.
waiting
Yes.
a little bit for more to come in.
Yes.
All right, so we have a lot for biotech company. People are looking for research and development.
Okay. So heavily on the first one. Okay. And then there are some of the other ones as well, probably like I would say a bit of each one of them.
Yes, yeah, business management, big one. Biomanufacturing, another big one.
Awesome. All right. This is really helpful and looks like you guys kind of know what's coming in the next slide. So let's jump in right there. So what kind of transferable skills in biotech and biopharma would be useful? So based on the job that you see, you can categorize your skills in different under different headings. It could be technical skills. Even within technical skills, there are subcategories. Make sure if it's a bioinformatics position, make sure to put the computational and analytical skills on the top and mention whatever softwares you're using or whatever you have learned. Okay, and then about if it's a project management position, you need to put that first. So essentially, all I'm saying is the headings of the skill, and along with that, the skills would change based on the jobs. So we saw 3 jobs for one of the profiles and 3 for other. I would change the skills based on the jobs that I apply for. So the first part of the resume is essentially a profile. Since a lot of you opted for a biotech, biopharma sort of position, is the profile. So on the profile, below the profile is the skills. Now, sometimes some people I've seen would mention the skills in a table. I would encourage you to always put it in bullet points. I think you're all familiar with the applicant tracking system or the ATS. And tables do not sit really well with ATS, so you want to make sure that you mention it as bullet points. Also, I think some people might be wondering here whether a company uses ATS or whether they use an HR sort of system a real person is viewing. I would still still be cautious about ATS because I have seen that almost 99% of the Fortune 500 companies use ATS, and a lot of biotech companies are in that Fortune 500. So there is no set formula, but just be careful about that. Also, there are transferable skills that anyone can master, and a lot of people would love to have someone on the team who can be efficient in those. I think we talked about time management, and it really starts with always being on time, project management skills, ability to collaborate, leadership, communication skills. So there are many different things that can help you in getting a little bit edge in the not only just highlighting your resume, but also highlighted during the interview. Attention to detail, also writing proficiency, which is again a great skill, and then critical thinking and analysis and adaptability. So a lot of different things that can help you with that. Now, these were some of the skills that we taught within your resume, or you can learn from here or there. But are there any formal set of skills certifications that I can tell you about? So I want to share with you something that might be helpful for you if you're looking for positions which in future would lead you to management. I think it would be a good idea to at least know about these, even if you are not essentially doing them right away. So one of them is PMP certification, also called Project Management Professional Certification, which is issued by PMI. So all the societies are actually in the first, bullet point. You can get the certification, and many of them are only valid for a number of years, and then you have to renew them. Also, want to mention about RAC, a Regulatory Affairs Certificate. It is issued by Regulatory Affairs Professional Society, and you can also get an certification for that. And similarly, if you are interested in clinical research, there is a certification for that. One advantage of joining these societies is that you are getting into the network of those professionals working on, let's say, biotech management or regulatory affairs or clinical side. So you come to know of way more jobs and at least career progression and many things, including people in the network. And maybe someone would approach you and say, hey, we have come to know each other through RAPS or PMI, and I have this opening, or I know of someone who has this opening. So trust me that this kind of certification also is one of the ways to break into the job market. Finally, as you are highlighting your skills on the resume, make sure to, first of all, when you're looking at the job ad, scan the posting and identify all job specific, transferable, and interpersonal skills that the employer is seeking. I would actually sit down and either underline them or, I don't know, highlight them if you're printing them out. And once you have done that, you should now go back to your own resume and see if you have those skills and make sure to, highlight them so that the, the first set of screening will get into the favorable pile. So that's one of the most important thing you can do, because there are two major steps. One is getting into the favorable pile, and the second one is really doing well in the interview. So if you list the specific skills in separate section, you categorize them into appropriate subheadings, and then make sure to include outcomes with those skills if you have used them in your previous position. So what I mean by that is, I'm going to give you an example with a professional summary. And I hope that if you're applying for jobs with biotech companies, you do have a professional summary with a couple of bullet points. Doesn't have to be for 3 to 5 bullet points work. Showcase your profile and highlight required skills and match it with the job that you are applying for. So how you can do that is I'm again sharing like this brief profile from a researcher, a lot of scientific terminology being used here. Great profile when you're saying you're investigated and altered epigenetic hallmarks of aging and segmental progeroid syndrome, but it's kind of hard to understand. Maybe, if you're applying for a non-academic position, you can, and maybe to a company position, maybe you can modify it to have something like this. And there is no absolute way of doing it, but you can modify it to the way that it best suits you. So it could be led a project on determining epigenetic mechanisms of aging syndrome and translating findings into actionable insights for potential gene therapy targets, if that's something that you have proposed. Also, you can, similarly, you can modify others, such as when we are having this great maybe finding about identifying a DNA repair protein between homologous recombination and non-homologous end joining by this particular protein. It's kind of hard to understand, lots of words in here. And if you have collaborated with another team, maybe you can say coordinated or, highlight collaborated cross-functionally or coordinated cross-functional collaboration among government and university research labs to study DNA repair pathways in aging syndromes. Similarly, for the next one, if you're highlighting publications, maybe make it simpler and maybe make it more, highlight the communication part where you say communicated research findings in these syndromes in 6 peer-reviewed publications and 2 review articles and presented key insights in multiple scientific conferences. Instead of saying just mentored post-bac students or mentored students in the lab, you could say provided technical training on protocols and mentorship to early career scientists, promoting research excellence in laboratory setting. So same thing can be said in different ways. And as we are saying them in different ways, I think it might be more appealing to actually see. Some of the complicated scientific terminology is good. Again, it's great for some of the academic positions, may not be the best for some other positions. Finally, when you have highlighted your skills on your resume, make sure that you highlight in the interview as well. If this is a role you have not held before, so for example, It's kind of nerve-wracking when you're going from like to a position you've never been in. Focus on how you can effectively demonstrate your skills and alignment with the position. And one of the best ways of doing it is do not break the ice at the interview. Maybe you want to go through a mock interview. You can try to, practice with someone. And if you cannot find someone to practice with, then, turn on the Zoom, record yourself and review. I think that sometimes we are biggest critique of ourselves when we say, this wasn't said well, or this was said well. And I also, between the second and third one, I also want to say that if you really, really want to get some interview skills, or you want someone to practice mock interview with, you can also try to, reach out to me. And there are other people in my network who can help you do that. For any skills or job requirements that you may not yet possess, that's fine. You will not know everything. Emphasize on your ability to learn quickly and leverage your transferable skills to showcase your overall job competency. You can always say that I did this, but I learned this particular skill, and this has resulted in not only a good outcome for the project, but we were able to publish these findings, thereby showing that you have the ability to learn and produce outcome related to an unknown skill which you have now mastered, and you can repeat the same thing, or you are able to reproduce the same thing at another place. So with this, I think I just want to share with you my thoughts that your professional experiences and transferable skills that you will derive from those experiences, they will drive the direction of your future prospects. So, make sure to, identify, amplify, and highlight your skills. I wanted to share some of the important links with you. First of all, it's if you are on LinkedIn, that's great. If you are looking for a job, I would highly recommend you to be on LinkedIn. I would say that I think the stats is like more than 95% of the employers, recruiters are on LinkedIn. I don't know a recruiter who's not on LinkedIn. So just saying, it probably is close to 100%. And then a lot of positions are being advertised there. So feel free to, take good advantage of that. I think there are other resources. BioBuzz has a lot of information as well. If you wish to connect with me, my profile is here. I can put it in the chat for you. All the positions that I shared here, I typically post on a LinkedIn group called Careers in Bio Undergrads to PhDs. So if you wish to look for this position, you might have to search a little bit, but you can definitely find positions. So I typically post anything that is posted in the last 24 hours. I highlight some of the positions there. Also, a shout out to Women in Bio. I'm the co-vice chair of Women in Bio. It's a great way to network, especially for women in life sciences. There are a number of chapters. Women in Bio Capital chapter is for DMV region. So please feel free to connect with us, go to our website or follow us on LinkedIn and join us for in-person networking events. And if you wish to contact me, feel free to email me. You can message me on LinkedIn, or you can also schedule to meet with me via Calendly. In my LinkedIn, there is a section where you can actually reach out to me.